York City just a few years ago, in 2015, Christie's auction house sold a very famous painting. The title of this painting is Composition Number 3 with red, blue, yellow, and black. It was painted in 1929 by Piet Mondrian. This painting sold for $50.6 million in 2015. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, why would anyone pay this much money for a painting with squares and rectangles on it? This painting started an entire movement of art from 1917 until 1931 called de Stijl. It was a Dutch word for the style. De Stijl was also known as Neoplasticism. Neoplasticism was a style of abstract painting which used only vertical and horizontal lines, rectangular shapes in black, white, gray, and primary colors. Neoplasticism was developed by the very famous artist Piet Mondrian. Piet Mondrian lived a long time ago. He was a Dutch artist born in the Netherlands and lived from 1872 to 1944. Like most artists in this time period, Mondrian started out with very classical training and loved to paint. At 16, he left traditional school and went to art school for his love of art. He obtained his degree in education by 1892 and was qualified to teach drawing in secondary schools. Instead of teaching, however, Mondrian earned his living by painting copies of famous museum paintings and continued his own original paintings. Being influenced by fellow artists of the time period, Mondrian's style began to change. Rather than the classical training he was given, he began to experiment with a more abstract, unrealistic style. Remember, abstract art does not represent reality. It seeks to achieve its effect by using shapes, forms, lines, colors, and textures. One subject matter that Mondrian loved to paint and draw were trees. Look at this drawing for Gray Tree, and then look at the following paintings of these trees and how they evolved to be more and more abstract. This was the beginning of his artistic movement to neoplasticism, where his paintings became simple lines and shapes, using only primary colors to portray what he thought was the pure form of art and design. These are just a few of his many paintings from this time period. Mondrian's innovative style of neoplasticism in the early 1900s had designers, architects, and artists all replicating this pure type of abstract art. To create our Mondrian-inspired artwork for today, you will need white paper, a pencil for drawing straight lines, and a ruler to help you guide you to keep your lines straight. You could even use, if you don't have a ruler at home, the straight edge of a magazine or an old book. You'll also need a black marker or crayon and the three primary colors used in all the neoplasticism artwork that you saw: red, yellow, and blue. That's it. Now, if you have some black construction paper and some scissors and glue, you can use that as well, but that's an extra, and I'll show you that later. To start out, we're going to use pencil and our straight edge, either a ruler or an old book that you can lean up against, and we're going to create and draw lines across and up and down vertically and horizontally to divide the paper up into squares and rectangles. Some boxes you can make separately where you don't have to connect them. Some you can have go right through the page. You're the artist, so you're going to decide what's going to make yours look great. Next step is super easy because we're going to take our 3 primary colors and you're just going to color in which boxes you think need some color. So I'm going to start with my yellow, and I'm going to color this box in, and then I'll use my red and my blue. Now another option that you can use, and if you don't have 3 primary colors at home, you could flip through a magazine and you could cut out, for instance, an old magazine that is, you can cut out like a square. If you find red, yellow, or blue, you can cut out a square of color and add that into your artwork if you don't have the crayons or the markers at home. All you need is some glue and some scissors, and then you can glue that down instead. It's just another option. The final step to your Mondrian inspired artwork is to add your black lines. Now, if you don't have a Sharpie pen at home, I always suggest adding black last so it doesn't smear on your colors. The Sharpie pen, you could use your straight edge and keep those lines nice and crisp, and you're going to go over all those pencil lines and outline what you did. Another option, rather than going over this with black marker, if you have black construction paper, you can draw strips of paper or lines with your pencil, cut out black skinny strips of paper, and keep them very straight. And you can also use these to create your black lines. You go over your pencil lines. So if I was going to use the black strips of paper instead of my marker, or if I wanted to use both, all I do is add the glue it down to those black lines there, line it up with my squares, and of course I can trim it. And I'm going to finish my artwork that way. Here's my finished product, my Piet Mondrian inspired artwork. Remember, if you use those primary colors to keep them bright, and you can use the marker for the black lines. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait to see your artwork. Don't forget to send me a picture.